Architects are always among the first people to know when changes are coming to a community because they're involved in the initial planning for new buildings and other developments. One of the most obvious impacts of COVID-19 is how and where we work. Our first speaker today, Charles Boney, is an architect and principal at LS3P, and he will talk with us about how a year of virtual meetings, virtual classrooms, and virtual doctor visits will change the way we design and build new facilities. Please join me in welcoming Charles to the stage.
Wow, thank you. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to look out on an audience with faces with smiles on them and not like this. It looks great. I also have to say, I know Lindsay and she has never been retiring, so congratulations, Lindsay. I'm Charles Boney. I'm an architect, and I want to talk to you today about the impact of the pandemic upon the way we use buildings. Let the story begin here. We all know this Paris icon. We all remember, many of us remember April 15th, 2019. In my case, we were in our conference room. We stopped the meeting. 30 of us gathered in the room to watch as the steeple fell. And I think many of us were heartbroken. The people in Paris rallied. Architects worldwide rallied. They put together some creative solutions, some of them whimsical, some of them serious. You see the one in the center is a swimming pool. That would have been nice on the roof. Some of them were stained glass. Many of them were very different from what Paris, what that icon looks like. In the end, the people of Paris decided to build it back just like it was. I don't think our response to the pandemic can be to build it back just like it was. So what of the building industry? What is the right thing to do, and where are we now? In 2020, we were hopeful and then filled with uncertainty as the stock market crashed, and so did the building industry. AIA National put together some statistics. Here you see the construction industry turning downward. I know it's too small to see, but we're all eager, certainly at that time, to put it back just as it was. The good news now for the Southeast region, and particularly for North Carolina, is the economic outlook for construction is somewhat brighter. One economist in Charlotte points toward recovery, and another American Institute of Architects survey indicates architects' billings in the Southeast are doing better than the rest of the country. So what will happen after the pandemic has passed? Pre-pandemic, in the K-12 environment, building insecurity was a major concern, and architects and contractors were working to prevent access by those who would harm our children. We were also having serious discussions about energy use and about educational outcomes. During COVID, that changed. Teachers worked tirelessly to keep the COVID out, to wash hands, to make sure that we met it at the door and prevented it from getting inside. We also had some curiously humorous things with products aimed at children, trying to help them wash their hands, help them learn to do the right thing. We learned to stop the virus at the security checkpoints, where schools that have security checking procedures, major entrances were supplemented by security zones to help keep the virus out, as they've done here at College Park Elementary School. Larger communal spaces have certainly been a benefit to us. These are spaces where students can pass or gather in broader areas to mitigate risk, and increased discussions about outdoor classrooms can only be beneficial for many reasons. We've learned about filtration. Our HVAC systems are putting in more aggressive filtration systems, and we have some inline ionization filters that may be beneficial. We've become much more aware of the benefits of outside air, which comes with the need for increased control of humidity and mold mitigation and so on. Touchless bathrooms, of course, have become the norm, and we expect that to stay. We've also used our time in this sort of COVID pause in building to think more about energy use, to think more about energy policy, and to begin seriously investigating net zero schools for our community. What about higher education? How did that desk? Sorry, that desk moved around. We watched as students tried to return to campus last fall, only to see colleges close for the first outbreak. And the reason for that, or the difficulty there, is we've got such porous campuses. Here at Furman University, we look at all the little red dots there. Those are entrances within a 2-minute walking radius. We've also got this huge influx on campus of people who are commuting in and commuting out of that community. And so that has been a difficult thing to control. What's the answer? Vaccination. Just vaccination. That's the only answer I can see. Architects can't control, builders can't control, building owners can't control that on college campuses. We've got to be able to vaccinate our students. So I was really encouraged to see this editorial headline, and I think that's the best hope for our campuses. Duke University has done a lot of great things. Duke University recently said they would require vaccination. I think that's a great thing. Schools have adapted to hybrid learning environments. Progressive educators have embraced new delivery systems, and students have gotten comfortable attending class, quote unquote, from their home, from their dormitory, or from 500 miles away. This long term is going to require less instructional space, smaller classrooms, and will accommodate in-person and remote classroom delivery. Places with large interior volumes have got the advantage of being able to gather people, to have students in that space and do hybrid learning environments. What about healthcare? What are we doing there? A special thanks here to our healthcare workers. They've done a great job caring for us and for our aging parents. Key strategies that we see on the healthcare industry are keeping infection out of medical facilities, containment, and preventing the COVID from getting in. Physical distancing, of course, is there. And then we have some strategic products to share. For preventing the spread, we've learned to rearrange the flow of people going through our buildings. For telemedicine, we've all gotten comfortable with that. How many have you actually had a telemedicine visit? If you've been to the doctor at all during the COVID, you've done that. And how many found that satisfactory? About half of you. Okay. A lot of us have gotten used to that, and I think we will see more and more of that. Medical office facilities are going to have these places in place. Lobbies are big lobbies. We've all experienced going to a lobby and seeing the chairs with the ropes or the X's on them or the paper that says "Don't sit here." I'm not sure that we need our large lobbies anymore. We've gotten comfortable with being able to either wait in our cars or scheduling for appointments has gotten infinitely more efficient. I have to say that telemedicine has probably helped with that as well. And we've also gotten used to being summoned by a text when it's time to come in. And then we have strategic products to keep everything clean. Office environments, this is where we're going to have the biggest change, I think. The Star News headline caught my attention. We've been forced to work remotely, and technology has made it possible to enjoy that as a benefit. In the future, offices will hire workers for their skills and not for their location. Among some professions, a home office will become the norm and not the exception. Many of you saw the headline about Salesforce in downtown San Francisco. They're predicting that 65% of their employees will not be expected to return to work every day in the future, and that will be a permanent policy. That kind of puts things in perspective for a major employer in downtown San Francisco. A recent business survey. This was a very informal thing among 300 employees. If you look at these 4 bars, there's almost an even distribution from the middle to the side. We've got 45% who said, we're okay working from the office. The other 55% were comfortable in other environments. They're returning to the office less than 2 days. I'd work from the office more frequently if? Well, the answer was I'm okay. I'm working from home. It works for me. In this survey response, effectiveness and efficiency were dependent upon other factors, like my home is comfortable, I save time commuting, work from home is convenient, I'd come back to the work, well, it depends. I'd come back to the office, it depends. The conclusion, I think, of this very non-scientific survey is let us work where we do work best. Let us be able to take our laptop out on the grass, let us work with the cat on the keyboard. We can do Zoom meetings. They've been fairly effective. They're not the greatest thing in the world, but they work. And we have learned to adapt to that. We will continue that. So how do we get people back in the office or back to the office? I think if we have home-like furnishings that attract people, if we provide outdoor live workspaces that make it easier to enjoy the outdoors, and if we provide amenities to employees, whether they are large gyms as you see here, or whether we place our offices in environments where there are other amenities close by, and blur the space between work and recreation and healthy lifestyles, that will help appeal to and retain a new generation of workers. So what have we learned? What have we learned from all this? I think we've learned that remote education works, and hybrid classrooms will be one more way to deliver education. We've learned that remote healthcare works, and telemedicine is going to be the way of the future for many medical procedures. It's going to be hard to go to the dentist with a telemedicine, but a lot of other procedures work. For remote work works, but Zoom meetings from home and everything works. But collaboration, how do we do collaboration? All this remoteness and this isolation, all this physical distancing made possible by technology cannot replace the collaboration, the human interaction, and cultural enrichment that our schools, our hospitals, our offices, and our concert halls provide so well. I'm looking forward to getting back to groups like this with smiling faces where we can all meet together. I think we will continue to have telemedicine, telehealth, you name it. Zoom meetings are a thing. They're here to stay. But I look forward to a future with all these things. Thank you very much.